Hello, what's up, AgencyGo fam? I wanted to make this video because I had put together this training for you and want to outline every single one of the steps that I've used to be able to scale myself out of my multi-million-dollar agency, make over $100,000 per year, and work less than 2 hours per week on my agency. Now, I have this Twitter post that I put out saying, if you guys want it. So a lot of you guys might be watching this from Twitter. So during this webinar, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to get to this point, what you can do to go from wherever you're at right now, no matter what level of revenue your agency is currently at, scale it. I'm going to take you through my entire journey, showing you visual prompts of all my data, all my statistics, breaking this down for you in detail. This is the most comprehensive breakdown that I've ever done. So I'm really excited to show this to you guys. So, and if you guys want to get any of your questions answered, either comment below in the video or feel free to book a time with me for a free agency audit, and our team will break down any of your questions to give you the full $180,000 per month in 90 days blueprint. So thank you so much for watching this, and let's jump right into it. So again, thank you guys all for the kudos on this Twitter post. It definitely picked up a lot of steam, so I'm excited to break this down for you. So first and foremost, who am I and what the heck do I know about scaling a business? So first and foremost, my name is Lucas James, and I have an agency called Twiz.io. And that agency does SEO and LinkedIn lead gen. Over the last 4 years, I've scaled this business to last year, we did $1.7 million in revenue. This year, we're going to do between $2 to $3 million in revenue. I'm 26 years old. I started the agency when I was 22. So after the last 4 years, we did this out of our college dorm room. No debt, no financing, no investment, nothing. Completely clean balance sheet. We could sell this business at any point in time, and we would recoup a huge return. Now, for me in my day-to-day, I've gone from in the work of scaling this business, grinding day and night, to transitioning from 16-hour days to being able to do what I want, when I want, and working how I want, right? And the way I was able to do this is to find key people and key roles to be able to scale myself out of the business, scaling myself out of sales, scaling myself out of operations, scaling myself out of marketing, doing everything possible to scale myself out of this business and turn it into an asset that I own that appreciates at 30 to 50% per year, as opposed to something that's a burden on me and my lifestyle, right? And so again, this is Twiz. You can check it out, Twiz.io, still owned and operated 50% by me, 50% by my business owner, Christian Velichkov. If you're curious about our business, go here just so you can see that we do know what we're talking about. I do have this business. It is legit. So I'm not talking about theoretically how to run a digital marketing agency and scale yourself to millions of dollars in revenue. I'm talking about tangibly how to do this right now, right? And so this is me as the co-founder of Twiz. Now, when I first started back in 2018, we started in February 2018. This was my performance at the beginning stages of the business. We scaled myself out, but I used these statistics, which I'm going to break down for you right here and now, to get myself out of the agency. So if you look here, these are the statistics you need to follow to build a $1 million book of business. And if you average this pace for 12 months in a row, then you'll get there. I started to scale myself out around month 9, so I didn't need to do it for a full 12 months. But if you can match this velocity of sales, and by the way, did I have any previous sales experience? No, I didn't. I had no previous sales experience. I just had a lot of, motivation. I really wanted to get to the point I am now to be able to build a software company, which is AgencyGo. I wanted to teach myself software development. I want to be a tech entrepreneur. That was my goal from day one. But the first goal was to do it on my terms. I didn't want to go get funding or get loans from anybody. I wanted to do this on my own terms. So because of that, I learned how to scale an agency. I did it myself. And so these are the numbers you got to hit. So if you look here, we're going to go line by line through some of these, right? You got to take on average 50 meetings per month. You can see the average here, 50 meetings per month. This is 50 meetings per quarter on average. Some months we had a lot of unqualified meetings at the beginning. We were just putting meetings in my calendar as meeting with anybody possible. And then over time, we got better at targeting and refined the targeting. And the average was about 50 per month. If we could do that, then we were cooking. And that's how I've been able to scale out my sales reps, which I'll show you in the next slide. And then if you want to hit that $1 million run rate, you're going to need to hit this velocity of sales volume. So for me, it's 15 accounts closed per month. If, for instance, your average account is $1,700 per month in revenue. So this is the average for me across this time period. So if you close that 15 accounts at $1,700, roughly speaking, that's about over $15,000, over $15,000, $15,000 to $20,000 per month in recurring sales was the average. So perfectly around me was $16,000. This is the average monthly subscription revenue added over that 9-month window. This was the minimum quota that I expected my sales reps to hit when I scaled myself out of the agency, right? And then you can also see what was my closing rate during this time. My closing rate was 26%. 26% was my closing rate, right? From the meetings that I took, I was able to close 26% of the deals. How many contracts did I send out? You have to send out 22 contracts. How many deals did I close from the contracts that I sent out? 64%, right? And then this is the average payment. So if you can do that, if you can hit those numbers, then you'll be able to scale to $1 million in revenue, right? So those are the sales numbers you have to hit. So what did I do after I scaled myself out from my sales position? I wasn't doing all the sales myself. I wasn't booking all the meetings myself. At that point, I started to get other people to book meetings for me, right? And then I eventually scaled myself out of that, and I had other people take meetings and close deals themselves. So if you look here, you can see a list of closers that some of them are still on my team and some of them aren't, right? The ones that are on my team are people like Ian Cathcart, Aldi Gabriel, Casey Hawkinson, Christian Velichkov. And then you got Andrew Nazarian as well, right? We filtered through a lot of people. We gave people meetings, and then we gave them more or less depending on how good they were doing. But one thing that's clear and consistent throughout all of this is that if you look at the closing rate right here, this number, 26.7%, what is that eerily familiar to? My number here. And what this goes to show is that when you're scaling yourself up, right, and you're scaling yourself up in the business, then you want to make sure that people are not performing on average worse than you. Never hire someone and scale somebody up in your business that's worse than you. You always want to get people who are equal or better than you. And that's a big misconception that a lot of agency owners have. They think that they should hire people that are worse, not because they want to, but because they think that nobody could ever be as good as them. But that is false. You can get people who are better than you, right? And when you get people who are better than you, they're going to grow your business faster. So you want to find, and the reason why is because think about all the tasks that you do on a daily basis. You do a lot of different things. And because of that, dilutes your performance as a founder, as an agency owner, right? So if you could actually increase your performance by having one person focusing on one thing, which is closing deals or booking meetings, then they're going to do better than you could in that role because they're not wearing 50 different hats, right? So that's how you need to think about it, is you want to get people who can match your average. So even with all these different people, with all these different closing rates, you can see the average is still 26.7%, which is about the average that I had over a 9-month window. This was not on purpose. This was just the average across the board, and it's so eerily familiar and similar to mine. So when you're scaling yourself out, remember to do that. Also, remember that when you're scaling yourself out, not to hire people full-time. This was a huge mistake that I made. Don't hire people full-time. Instead, scale people's hours up based on their performance. So what I did is I had one deal. They had to close every 20 hours that they worked, right? So on average, they had to pull in 8 accounts every month at a minimum of $1,200 per month in recurring revenue, or really more like $1,000. They had to bring at least $8,000 in monthly recurring revenue. $15,000 was what was expected. That's the on-target quota. If they got to 8, that was when they were cut, right? If they did more, they got rewarded even more with bonuses and things like that. And this is what you need to do, because I went through a 12-month period where I was plateaued, which I'll show you a bit later. I was plateaued for 12 months trying to scale out these salespeople, and I couldn't do it. And the reason why was because I started them off full-time and I hadn't tested them. But once I started getting people fractionally and scaling up their hours, they started to perform a lot better. So if you can get people fractionally and scaling up their hours, they're going to do a lot better, right? So do that. Don't hire people full-time. Now, where does that lead me today after I was able to get all these people, and where does this passivity come from? This passive income I keep talking about, where I barely work at all on my team. Now I put my time into AgencyGo. What happened was a lot of this revenue that came in for us was from partnerships, from agency partnerships. So for you, whether you use my software or not, right? You don't have to use AgencyGo. That's fine. But whether you use my software or not, you want to have some sort of mechanism to partner with other agencies, because what happens is other agencies are constantly looking for opportunities to send business to other agencies that they don't offer the same services. So for instance, if my agency does SEO and lead gen, I'm constantly looking for someone else to fulfill on, let's say, Facebook ads. This actually happens right now. One of our closers also owns a Facebook ads agency, a great Facebook ads agency called Spear Group. His name's Andrew Nazarian. And what happens is we send him business when we can't fulfill on the Facebook ads, or he white labels us. And because we grow together, we're stronger and we scale faster. So whether or not you use AgencyGo, which is a software that I built to generate more referrals guaranteed for agencies, and you can sign up by just going to get started on the AgencyGo.io website. And when you sign up, it's $97 per month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Whether you use this or not, it doesn't matter. You just need to network with people and build partnership relationships with each other, right? If you do that, about 30 to 50% of all the revenue you generate on your first $1 million in revenue is going to be revenue from partnerships, right? That's very important. So make sure that you focus on that. And then if you do choose to use AgencyGo, all of my sales training and content is inside here. You'll be able to look at all the deals that people send you back and forth, all inside here. We make introductions inside the software for you to get more partnerships, right? And then you can see a ranking of all the top agency owners based on how many deals they've referred inside the software. And inside here, you can find agencies based on a variety of things. Like if you want to find them based on saved searches, you can find them here. Amazon ads agencies, boom. You can find Amazon ads agencies who are AgencyGo members. You can find SaaS dev agencies who are AgencyGo members. You can find them all in here. Let's say you want to find cold calling scripts. You can find them in here as well. This is exclusive to AgencyGo. This is hundreds of hours of training. This is a limited training that I'm giving away, fully robust, but I have modules that break down everything in minute detail that you can also get by joining. Now, if you want, you can also go to agencygo.io/leads. This is free. You don't have to sign up if you want this. agencygo.io/leads. And if you go to grow.agencygo.io/leads, you can get this. You can download it, and then you'll get taken to this Drive folder where you can access all of my scripts for free. If you want to learn how to book all these meetings, just go there and you can get all of them for free. Okay. So I definitely recommend that you do that if you're interested. Now, once we were able to scale initially, and I was able to get all these people and I was able to transition into software, you can see some of the numbers and how long it took to get to the next level here and all the series of plateaus that we had, right? So this is the payments received in bank. This is not with the Stripe fees and processing fees. This is just the pure post Stripe fees numbers. So you see here back in 2018, about $10,000 per month, right? We were able to scale really rapidly over the course of a year to 96,000. Then we plateaued. This is the period when I was trying to figure out how to duplicate myself from the sales process. I could not do it. I lost a lot of money doing this. It was very inefficient. And then 96,000, you can see barely much budged. The recession hit. This is like 2020. And then we blew up. And then I removed myself from sales because I wanted to start focusing on the passivity of having dividends come from my agency. And I didn't want to work as hard because if I worked really hard in the agency, I'd make more money, but I'd be fully involved. This is when I was working full time in the agency. Now I work, we make $140,000 per month, roughly, the agency. I get paid over 6 figures per year and I do basically nothing. So this is what I'm talking to you about in this training is how to do this. When I remove myself, we make less on a monthly basis, but now what's happening is we're reinvesting a lot of earnings back into growth. And you should see us, if you look at this curve of growth over time, we should hit $200,000, $240,000 per month in a few months. Let's say last month we did the most meetings we ever booked in a single month. So we're expecting this month, June, and also July to be extremely strong all the way until the end of the year. So you might see me update this video and us hitting 200,000 plus a month in sales. But you can see this arc is just trending upwards over time, right? So this is what happens when you get yourself out of a plateau, you grow, you get yourself to another level, you plateau a bit more, and then you grow again. So when you're thinking about scaling yourself out of your agency, you want to think of everything as a series of plateaus and then growth, plateaus and then growth, right? This was a series of growth. This was a series of growth, right? What we're in right now is probably another plateau because I've removed myself from so much of the business. Now I'm an active investor, essentially. I'm involved in the investment side of the business, but I'm not involved in the day-to-day because, again, I have this team, this wonderful team that's able to take over for me and do a lot of the work, right? So when we do this kind of stuff, it really helps the scaling process. And so when I hit this curve of growth, after I was able to scale myself out of the sales part, that's when I started investing in multiple channels and investing in multiple acquisition sources of leads. And if you see here, going from 65,000 to 185,000, 300% growth in less than a year, right? This is when we finally figured out Google Ads. And what we did is we finally figured out how to make landing pages and how to do follow-up sequences. So if you look here, right, this is an example of landing page, right? This landing page gets somebody something for free that's high value. They can always unsubscribe at any time. But because they're coming through this funnel, we're able to get a meeting with them. And even if they don't want a meeting, they're getting a lot of free value. So it's a perfect transaction. People are happy with it. They're not having any complaints. And because of this, it's a perfect funnel. So once we figured this out, we were able to grow extremely fast. And then again, this next growth curve that we're having, that we're experiencing, which is about to happen right here in this period right here that we're in, is from us outsourcing all of our sales talent to the Philippines. There's a great team out there that we built, amazing people, wonderful people, outsourcing it to the Philippines, paying them all very well, and then scaling up from there. And the thing is, the reason we kind of plateaued here is our cost of sales was too high. What happened was we were paying for all talent on the West Coast of the United States, which is probably the most expensive area in the world to live in, right? So all of our talent was extremely expensive. So now that we're outsourcing a lot of that talent and we're getting really, really good talent elsewhere, because now talent is available everywhere for marketing agencies, our cost per meeting is extremely effective, and we're able to scale to a much higher level. So we're expecting to hit maybe 200, 240 consistently now, and just continue with this rate of growth that we've been seeing with the agency. Now, if you want to see an example of what a landing page looked like that allowed me to build this passivity in my agency to be able to grow and scale myself out of the business, here's one within Twiz that you can go look up anytime you want to. LinkedIn lead generation. This page we've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on, and it's allowed us to scale ourselves out of the business, because what happens is people come here from Google Ads, they search things like LinkedIn lead generation, appointment setting, etc. They land on this page, they click, yes, I want leads, and then they're taken to a calendar for them to book a meeting. We've booked hundreds or thousands, roughly in the high hundreds, close to 1,000 meetings just from this alone. This funnel right here alone is booking hundreds, if not thousands, of meetings for our agency, right? And then once they book that meeting, we hit them with follow-up sequences and cold calling through Lemlist or other tools like Close.io, etc. But that allows us to automate the process. And the key here, and this is something that I want you to keep note of and take and write down if you have a notepad in front of you, is that when we're following up with these people, you want to give them something of extreme value. Otherwise, it's just spam, right? So one thing that worked for us really well was we said, hey, we did an analysis on your website. Would you like to see it? It's a very comprehensive analysis. You filled out our form. We'd love to reach out to you and give it to you, right? And because they got this form, because they got this analysis, they're way more interested in talking to us, right? And once they got that, they felt more trust with us. And so what we did is we would not only get a meeting with them, but if somebody didn't book a meeting with us, but they clicked they wanted more, they filled out their email address, then we would follow up with them. And when we followed up with them, we would try to get them on a meeting by giving them something of value. So that also allowed us to scale out of the business, right? And so that's essentially how we did it. Now we're in this phase where we've been able to scale out. And again, for myself, making the kind of money that I make is not millions of dollars, because the business itself, I'm waiting one day to sell it, or maybe I'll never sell it. Maybe I'll hold it for another 10 years. But the point is, it doesn't matter, right? Because the actual asset value is increasing without my hours working on the business actually increasing. So if you want to do the same thing, you have to focus on getting through these peaks and valleys, investing in the right thing, scaling yourself first out of the business, then using the kind of scripts that I'm giving away, again, for free. You can go get them at grow.agencygo.io/leads. You can get them completely for free. Once you've gotten them, reaching out to people, finding the right kind of people, getting them on a call with you, and then scaling yourself out of every individual function that allows yourself to grow. And again, if you want these, we can go over them together. Feel free to book a call on my calendar below, or you can even just comment below on this YouTube video. I'm happy to give you free advice. You don't have to hop on a call with me if you don't want to. But if you want to hop on a call and you want to dive into this deeper, feel free. And then if you want me to generate more revenue for you guaranteed, you can join AgencyGo.io. You get 30-day money-back guarantee, $97 per month. If you don't want this, that's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm not forcing you to buy this, right? If you just want to ask me questions, I'm just here to help, right? At the end of the day, it's what I want to do. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. Hopefully, Twitter, AgencyGo family, I really appreciate this. I appreciate all the love on this tweet. And hopefully this helps you guys get to your journey a little bit faster, get to your goals a little bit faster. If you ever need anything from me, you know who to call. You know where to find me. Right? Just DM me or comment below on this video, and I'll be there to help you. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this webinar. We're going to be putting out more like this. Stay tuned. And if you ever need anything, don't feel free to holler at me. Thank you.